Hello everyone and welcome back to this channel. So guys, former Nigerian Vice President Atiku Abubakar has criticized the proposed 2025 federal budget, describing it as lacking the structural reform and fiscal discipline necessary to address Nigeria's significant economic challenges. So in a statement posted on X on Sunday, Abubakar argued that the budget fails to promote sustainable economic growth or tackle the country's deep-rooted issues. He also noted that the fiscal plan reflects a continuation of business as usual practice and increased Nigeria's external debt burden. So guys, listen to the full details of this headline.
The 2025 federal budget, amounting to N48 trillion with a revenue projection of N35 trillion, results in a deficit exceeding N13 trillion or 4% of GDP, Abubakar said. This highlights a persistent trend under the APC-led administration since 2016, characterized by budget deficits and an over-reliance on external borrowing. He revealed that the government plans to bridge the fiscal gap by borrowing over N13 trillion, including N9 trillion in direct loans and N4 trillion in project-specific financing. This approach, he warned, mirrors past borrowing strategies that have escalated public debt and increased risks related to interest payments and foreign exchange exposure. Budgetary weaknesses. Abubakar highlighted several flaws in the budget, including poor execution, disproportionate debt servicing, and unsustainable government expenditures. 1. Weak budgetary foundations. He noted that the underperformance of the 2024 budget raises doubts about the feasibility of the 2025 plan. By the third quarter of 2024, only 35% of the allocated capital expenditure for ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, had been disbursed, despite claims of 85% execution. This shortfall in capital spending, he said, undermines efforts to drive economic transformation. 2. Disproportionate debt servicing. According to Abubakar, debt servicing accounts for 15.8 trillion, or 33% of the total expenditure, nearly equal to the planned capital expenditure of 16 trillion, 34%. Debt servicing exceeds spending on critical sectors, including defense, N4.91 trillion, infrastructure, N4.6 trillion, education, 3.52 trillion, and health, N2.4 trillion, threatening essential investments and fiscal stability. 3. Unsustainable government expenditure. Over N14 trillion, 30% of the budget, is allocated to recurrent expenses, including an oversized bureaucracy and inefficient public enterprises. Abubakar criticized the absence of concrete measures to curb waste and improve spending efficiency, which he said worsens fiscal challenges and limits developmental resources. 4. Insufficient capital investment. After accounting for debt servicing and recurrent expenditures, only 25%, 34% of the budget is left for capital spending, which is inadequate to address Nigeria's infrastructure deficit or stimulate growth. This translates to an average capital allocation of about N$80,045 per capita, far below what is needed for a country struggling with slow growth and infrastructural underdevelopment. 5. Regressive taxation and economic strain. Abubakar criticized the government's decision to raise the VAT rate from 7.5% to 10%, calling it a regressive measure that will worsen the cost of living crisis and hinder economic growth. He warned that imposing higher taxes on a struggling populace without addressing inefficiencies in governance risks stifling domestic consumption and exacerbating economic hardship. Call for reform. To improve the budget's credibility, Abubakar urged the government to focus on reducing inefficiencies, tackling contract inflation, and pursuing long-term fiscal sustainability. He emphasized the need for a shift from unsustainable borrowing and recurrent spending patterns to a more disciplined and growth-oriented fiscal policy, which he described as essential for Nigeria's economic recovery.
So guys, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has laid out his concerns about the 2025 federal budget. So he said that the budget will not be beneficiary to citizens. It will not help Nigeria, and then they need to amend some things. Imagine wasting trillions of naira just in mail. Just mail alone, billions of naira, millions of naira is going to be spent on that. The 2025 budget didn't include the pressing issues of Nigeria. I mean, there are more important things they're supposed to use money for, and not in meal and in travel. They are not even talking about economic reform or education, drop out of school children that are everywhere in the north, everywhere in Nigeria self as it stands. Their main concern is on meal and in travel. Imagine wasting trillions of naira in travel and in meal. Nigeria cannot move forward with this kind of budget. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this headline under the comment section. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.